What if we told you that in the next few decades many of the animals we know and love could disappear forever? That's the harsh reality of the climate crisis. This isn't about mythical creatures or distant planets in a sci-fi movie. This is about our planet, right here, right now. The climate crisis is a stark reality we can no longer afford to ignore. It's a reality that's already impacting our wildlife in ways we're just beginning to understand. Picture this: a polar bear stranded on a shrinking ice floe, unable to hunt or feed. Or a butterfly, fluttering aimlessly as it loses its migratory path due to the changing seasons. These aren't just isolated incidents. These are real-life stories unfolding across the globe, as our planet's climate continues to change at an unprecedented rate. The consequences of this crisis are far-reaching. As the Earth warms, habitats are disappearing. Forests are burning, oceans are acidifying, and ice caps are melting. The very landscapes that wildlife calls home are being drastically altered, leaving many species struggling to adapt. But it's not just about habitat loss. The changing weather patterns, brought about by the climate crisis, are wreaking havoc on wildlife. Animals that have evolved over thousands of years to survive in specific climates are now finding themselves in environments they can barely recognize. And the most heartbreaking consequence of all, the extinction of species. We're living in an era of mass extinction, the likes of which haven't been seen since the dinosaurs disappeared. Except this time it's not an asteroid that's to blame, it's us. Yes, the climate crisis is a creation of human activity. Our relentless pursuit of progress, our disregard for the natural world, has led us here. To a world on the brink, where the survival of countless species hangs in the balance. The climate crisis is not a distant threat, it's happening right now, and our wildlife is bearing the brunt of it. So let's roll up our sleeves and dig deeper into this crisis. Stay tuned as we explore the front line of this battle, the wildlife that's facing this harsh reality head-on. The climate crisis doesn't discriminate. Every species, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, feels its impacts. The scale of this impact is staggering. The World Wildlife Fund estimates that up to half of all plant and animal species on Earth could face local extinction by the end of the century if we don't take action. And it's not just about the numbers. Each species plays a unique role in the delicate balance of our ecosystems, and their loss can have ripple effects that we're only beginning to understand. Take the polar bear, for instance. As the Arctic ice melts at an unprecedented rate, polar bears are losing their hunting grounds. They're forced to swim greater distances, expending precious energy reserves, and sometimes they don't make it. The polar bear isn't just an icon of the Arctic, it's a crucial part of the ecosystem, influencing everything from the local food chain to the cycle of nutrients in the soil. In the warmer waters of our oceans, coral reefs are experiencing similar devastation. As the sea temperatures rise, corals are bleaching and dying off at an alarming rate. These reefs are the rainforests of the sea, home to a quarter of all marine species. Their loss doesn't just mean the disappearance of colorful fish and fascinating sea creatures. It threatens the livelihoods of 500 million people worldwide who depend on these reefs for food, income, and protection from storms. And it's not just these well-known species that are at risk. From the bees that pollinate our crops, to the fungi that break down organic matter in our soils, countless unsung heroes of our planet are under threat. The climate crisis is not a distant problem, it's happening here and now, and it's affecting the creatures we share our world with in profound and irreversible ways. These numbers are not just statistics. They represent the lives of creatures that share our planet. When a species disappears, it's not just a loss for biodiversity, it's a blow to the entire ecosystem. This isn't just a poetic lamentation, it's a stark scientific truth. Each species, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, plays a unique role in the grand tapestry of life. They're all interconnected, woven together in a delicate balance known as the food chain. To comprehend the gravity of losing a single species, imagine a tower of dominoes. Each domino represents a different species in an ecosystem. Now picture what happens when you remove one domino from the middle of the stack. The whole structure becomes unstable, teetering on the brink of collapse. That's the domino effect in ecology. The food chain is a perfect illustration of this domino effect. It's a linear sequence of who eats whom. At the outset, you have your primary producers like plants, who convert sunlight into energy. Next come the herbivores, who munch on those plants. Then, the carnivores join the party, who feast on the herbivores. If any link in this chain goes missing, it can cause a ripple effect that disrupts the entire ecosystem. Take the Arctic, for instance. Polar bears sit at the top of the food chain. They keep the seal population in check, which in turn prevents overgrazing of fish and other marine life. But as the ice caps melt due to climate change, polar bears are losing their hunting grounds. This could lead to a decline in their numbers, which could then trigger a surge in the seal population, ultimately disrupting the balance of the entire marine ecosystem. Or consider the Amazon rainforest, often referred to as the lungs of our planet. The myriad species residing there form a complex web of symbiotic relationships. The loss of even one species could have far-reaching effects on the whole ecosystem. The loss of a single species can set off a chain reaction that affects the entire ecosystem. It's not just about the loss of a single domino, it's about the potential collapse of the entire stack. We must all grasp the gravity of this domino effect if we hope to mitigate the impacts of the climate crisis. The climate crisis may seem overwhelming, but it's not hopeless. Each of us has a role to play in mitigating its impacts. Every single one of us can contribute to the fight against climate change in our own unique and individual ways. The best part? It doesn't require grand gestures or monumental efforts. Sometimes the smallest of actions can lead to the most significant changes. Let's start with the notion of reducing our carbon footprint. This concept revolves around minimizing the amount of greenhouse gases we produce, directly or indirectly. Think about the decisions you make in your daily life. The car you drive, the food you eat, the energy you consume, even the clothes you wear. All these have a bearing on your carbon footprint. Adopting a more sustainable lifestyle, whether it's through cycling to work, eating less meat, or switching to renewable energy sources, can make a world of difference. Supporting conservation efforts is another crucial step. There are numerous organizations and initiatives out there dedicated to protecting and preserving our wildlife and natural habitats. They work tirelessly to reverse the damage done by climate change, but they need our help. This could mean donating to these causes, volunteering your time, or even just spreading the word about their work. Advocacy is another powerful tool at our disposal. By advocating for climate-friendly policies, we can influence the powers that be to make decisions that prioritize the environment. This could mean voting for leaders who recognize the urgency of climate change, or lobbying for laws that curb emissions and promote renewable energy. In the grand scheme of things, these actions might seem small, but remember this: when millions of us start making these changes, their cumulative impact can be truly monumental. Remember, the climate crisis isn't just an environmental issue, it's a wildlife issue, it's a human issue, it's our issue, and it's high time we stepped up and did our part to tackle it. Our actions today will determine the fate of our wildlife and our planet tomorrow. The climate crisis is a global issue that requires a global solution. The magnitude of this issue can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it is important to remember that every effort counts, and every action has the potential to create a ripple effect of positive change. We've journeyed together through the harsh reality of the climate crisis, understanding its profound impact on our wildlife, the domino effect it sets off within our ecosystems, and the crucial role we all play in mitigating this crisis. It's clear that the time to act is now. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. Our wildlife is at the front line of this crisis, facing threats like never before. From polar bears in the Arctic, struggling to find food as ice melts away, to coral reefs bleaching due to warming seas, the stories are countless and heart-wrenching. We must acknowledge these realities, but more importantly, we must act to alter them. The domino effect of the climate crisis is devastating. As one species struggles, the entire ecosystem it's part of feels the impact. The balance of nature, a delicate and intricate web of life, is being disrupted. But remember, we are part of this web too. Our actions can either exacerbate these issues or help to restore the balance. Our role in mitigating the crisis is pivotal. We have the power to make a difference. It starts in our homes, in our communities, and in our conversations. By reducing waste, conserving energy, supporting sustainable practices, and raising awareness, we can contribute to the solution. We have the power to change the course of the climate crisis. Let's use it to protect our wildlife and our planet. It's a shared responsibility, a collective endeavor, and a commitment to future generations. Subscribe to EcoPlanet Chronicles for more insights and updates on this pressing issue. Let's stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, let's stay resolute in our pursuit of a healthier, more sustainable world. Together, we can make a difference.